Every great creative work stands on the shoulders of giants. Welcome to RetroInspection, where we examine and find out where the things we love today came from.
I want to talk now about the story itself because it's really short.
Yeah, I think I read it in about 2 hours. And I'd never, it's like a lot of these things we do, I had not read them previously. Or if I have, I have read them in the far distant past. My Christmas Carol, I don't think I ever read in the first place. But I've seen, the 11 gazillion adaptations, uh, parodies, modernizations. And, so the reason we're doing this is because it permeates popular culture around Christmas time.
Oh yeah. So it's 5 chapters essentially, and yeah, they kind of it's staves, right?
Stage, sorry.
And a stave is what you put musical notes on. That's how you write musical notes. So he obviously thought of this as either poetry or music. And if you think of it as such, because it's a story of redemption, it is. You start at the bottom. With Scrooge's situation at the bottom, and it continues to rise until the end, right? So perhaps that's how he thought of it. I don't know. I like to think that he thought of it that way because it is poetry, and he was obviously very learned. The amount of knowledge that these authors had that was self-taught is quite um, impressive, because he makes reference for a guy who never went to formal school, right? Even though he did found schools in England to teach the poor, he knew a heck of a lot and could draw on inspiration and classical knowledge that as well as any other writer. So that to me is quite impressive. But the story itself starts off with
Okay. I'm sorry. I turned to that. It's Christmas Eve. Uh, Stooges, Scrooge. I'm probably going to screw that up 15 more times. Um, he's going through the entire normal business day, begrudging the fact that he's got to give, he is legally required to give Bob Cratchit the next day off. Um, his nephew comes in to invite him to Christmas dinner, which he does every year. And as every year, Scrooge is a pisshead and tells him to beat it. And he's not celebrating Christmas. And the bah humbug routine, and then we get two more guys coming in to collect for the poor. Scrooge tells them to beat it as well. And then this our infamous line. Are there no prisons? Are there no workhouses? Because that's his solution to poverty, is to lock people up. Somehow that will solve it.
well, he talks about uh, somewhere in there depleting the excess population or
right,
something
exactly,
like that.
Because that's the counter of the two guys collecting for the charities. Hey, people are going to die, and so you're just like, good. We've got too many people as it is, and also something about and there is something which doesn't usually find its way into the adaptations about shipping people out of the country, ostensibly to either the colonies or the New World, which was very common. Right now, actually, I'm reading Niall Ferguson's The World at War, and I'm trying to remember the time period he's talking about, but within this, I think the second half of the 19th century, Britain loses nearly 1 million people, and he cites this, as being one small component in the dissolution of the British Empire is they simply couldn't staff the colonies because they were losing so many people to emigration. Because Britain was a dump.
I can't remember the author of this famous essay, but essentially, it's on the tip of my tongue. Essentially, it was, the thesis of it was to get rid of the excess population, you had to eat the children. You remember this?
Oh, that's Jonathan Swift. Yeah, Modest Proposal.
Yeah. Right. So
yeah.
He's
specifically Irish children.
Oh.
Which was a concern about this. This 1843. This predates the potato famine. Swift is writing circa the potato famine and the policies of the British government exacerbated the famine in Ireland, and they didn't care in the slightest because Britain was receiving revenue from other agricultural products which were denied to the Irish. So the potato was the staple of their diet. Potato goes bye-bye. That's how we get, 1 million people over here from Ireland during the famine period. And also they were regarded by the British government as largely troublesome Catholics, another group they were happy to be rid of. The Prime Minister was, I believe, Trevelyan at that time, and of course Queen Elizabeth, and neither one of them gave a tin shit about dead Irish.
So the
modern Scrooge.
So the Empire of Britain was simultaneously losing, or at least Britain itself was losing population, but had this attitude that the people they had were not worthy of the charity that they should be getting, or the education, and they should be sent
below a certain station. They were well rid of them.
Yeah. And that is Scrooge, right? That's how Scrooge is.
Scrooge is a good Tory.
And some people I see have argued that Scrooge is based on a certain MP.
Could very well have been.
But mostly I think it's probably a commentary on his father, because I think he was estranged from his father for many years.
Like, subscribe, repost, share everywhere. To see what else we're up to, visit xynobooks.com, xenobooks.com.